morning. Good morning, people. I'm just watching my sound levels. Good morning, wonderful people. How is everyone today? It's another week. We need to get through Deuteronomy, man. Dang, how long is Deuteronomy? Deuteronomy, dang. 34 chapters. 34 chapters. I just openly want to say, oh gosh, here we go. Oh wait, it seems nice at the beginning. Let's see. I can't wait for I just want to openly say on this. Oh, shut up. Shut up. I already know what this is. I think you're a very educated commentator who everyone should trust as a Christian and as a man. And it's great you do Bible studies every morning. And what else? And what else, Jalen? You look extremely handsome today. It looks like you've showered and brushed your teeth. No, I just got home from work in the gym. You know, that gym is work and gym. Well, the work is a place where you go every day and you spend time there and they pay you for it, for doing labor. I know that's something you maybe never heard of. And then the gym, another place you've probably never heard of. That's the place where you go and they have like weights and machines and you use them to get stronger. Yeah. So I have not showered or brushed my teeth since I've been home. Well, go ahead. Keep going. Where's the punchline? Come on, super creative, super original Jalen. We can't wait. We're on the edge of our seat. All right. We are on Deuteronomy 21, 34 chapters in Deuteronomy. Hopefully we can get through this week. Deuteronomy 21. Again, this is Moses' last speech to the Israelites before he goes to die. And then they cross the Jordan with Joshua into the promised land to battle with the Canaanites. Sound levels are good, unfortunately. So you're on the internet openly saying you have bad hygiene. No surprise. And you're the punchline? But you just gave me a bunch of compliments. I have bad hygiene? Bye? You didn't even do the joke. So you just gave me all those compliments just to be nice? You didn't even do the punchline. How is it bad hygiene that I just got done with work in the gym and I just got home from the gym and ate and started streaming? I just ate dinner. What are you talking about? Dummy. You didn't even you didn't even do the punchline. Okay. Public service announcement. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to preach at you. And I'm not here to teach you nothing. If you learn something, it's not me that taught you. It's God that taught you. If you think I'm wrong about something, then go ask somebody else or go look somewhere else. Go to a real teacher. Go to a smart person. I don't know. I probably am wrong. Happy birthday, Jesus. I don't think it's Jesus' birthday today. Oh, we got another one. Trying to be funny. How many of these are we going to get? Yeah, so don't let no man teach you everything I say. Take it and then you can look into it for yourself. Do your own study to show thyself approved. Do your own study. Look into it on your own time. Go to smarter people. On 1775 Bible said Jesus' birthday is April 1st. Is that part of an April Fool's Day joke or is that real? 1775 Bible, is that the Jefferson Bible where he took out all the miracles? So you're better than the Bible from 1775. If that's the Jefferson Bible, I've never heard of the 1775 Bible, but if that's the Jefferson Bible, then yeah, any Bible is better than it. It's garbage. Garbage. Chapter 21. Okay, so we are in Deuteronomy 21. Remember, we're going through basically the whole Torah up until this point. This is like a recap. This is Moses' last speech. He's going to die soon. And chapter 21, we're going to look at laws concerning unsolved murders. Why'd you delete your comment when I already read it? Why'd you delete your other comment when I already read it? That don't make no sense. All right, chapter 21. If one be found slain, remember this is laws concerning unsolved murders. If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who has slain him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain. And it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, the closest city basically, even the elders of that city shall take an heifer, which hath not been wrought with, and which hath not drawn in the yoke. And the elders of that city shall bring down the heifer unto a rough valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and shall strike off the the heifer's neck there in the valley. And the priests, the sons of Levi, shall come near. For them the Lord thy God hath chosen a minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord. And by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. It's actually not impossible that Jesus' birthday is in April. I forget all the we talked about it before. Usually every Easter we go over this. There is a January, February, March, April, May. I forget how it works, but I don't think it's April though. Potentially he could have been born in April. Their months were named different things, but I believe it was wintertime. I believe it was closer to when we celebrate Christmas. Some people would argue that, and it's possible, but if any Bible says any specific date that he was born, then I wouldn't trust that translation because we don't really know the date. We can only, use reasoning and come up with an estimate. But even that's just going to be a guess. And every stroke be tried. God hath chosen a minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord, and by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. And all the elders of that city that are next unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley. And they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. Be merciful, O Lord, unto thy people Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, and lay not innocent blood unto thy people of Israel's charge, and the blood shall be forgiven them. So shalt thou put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. This is the one. Atheists don't like this one. This is one of those ones that they use. I think we talked about this when we were in Deuteronomy. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. Yeah, we talked about this when we were going through Deuteronomy. We jumped ahead to this. Um, this is one of the verses that atheists will pull out in debates. What translation do you have? KJV or NIV? I have both. And I have an ESV. I have a Mormon version of the Bible. I have a Joseph Smith Bible. I have I think that's all that I own. That's all that I have right now. Yeah, I have ESV, NIV, KJV, a Joseph Smith Bible. I'm not a Mormon. I just got one because I live in Salt Lake City and the Mormons are everywhere. Is that the Jewish translation? I don't know what the Jewish translation is. Are you talking about the Masoretic text? Are you just trolling? Are you like asking serious questions? Anyway, so this section here, it's gonna get a little. So this part right here, kind of questionable. Kind of questionable. So when you're going in the land that God has delivered, and you've taken them captive, and you seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her her clothes of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. So what they'll say, so basically you're destroying villages, and then you're capturing the women, and you're bringing them home and turning them into your woman slaves. But that's not really what it is, because that's what other nations would do. They would just grab all the women and put them in a cage, lock them in a cage, and do what they want with them, have their way with them. I'm trying to figure out what's the teaching of each translation. I mean, if it's a decent translation, that should all just be one teaching. It's the teaching of the gospel and whatever book. There shouldn't be, there's not different teachings in each translation. It's the same teachings. If there's a different translation, if there's a different teaching because the translation is different, then it's a bad translation. There should be a consistent message regardless of the translation. Okay, I'm gonna stop responding to all these because I keep getting derailed. Okay, so most of the tribes would just capture all the women and turn them into sex slaves. But in Israel, they have laws. You've wiped out these people. There's some women left. You see one and she's beautiful. And it doesn't say you just want to take her and make her your dang sex slave. You want to make her your wife. So you spare her life. You bring her home. You clean her. You shave her head. And this is a sign of turning away from that lifestyle. You're going to be part of our world now. You need to assimilate. So you shave her head. It's like a fresh start, right? Clean her. You give her a month to mourn her parents because she just lost her whole village. You give her a month to mourn, which is very merciful. None of the other tribes are going to do that. They're not going to give a woman a month to mourn and clean her. They're going to throw her in a cage and grape her every day. At least in Israel, there is some rules. And what would you rather them do? Just kill them with all the men? This is actually a blessing. So, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. So, you see this woman, she's beautiful, and you think, I want to make her my wife. You give her a month, you go in unto her, you make her your wife. I don't know if these are like out of order or what, but she shall be thy wife, And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then you shall let her go whither she will. So if you're not happy with her as a wife after a while, or maybe before you go in unto her, if you're not happy with her as a wife, maybe you don't like the way her voice sounds. Maybe she's not cleaning enough or something. You don't chop her head off or anything like that. You let her go. And it even commands them not to sell her. You don't sell her as slave. You just let her go. That's not horrible. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. She's humbled, but you're not happy with her. Send her on her way. If a man has two wives, one beloved and another hated, like Joseph, no, like Jacob. Remember, Jacob wanted Leah, but he got Sarah, Rebecca. Is it it's not Rebecca. Jacob and Esau. Isaac and I don't know. I forget all the wives' names. But remember, Jacob went to the farm to find the woman, and he found her at the well, and then he had to work for the dude, and he gave him the other girl, the other sister, and he married her. So he had multiple wives. One, he doesn't say he hated her, but he wasn't a fan of her. He was after Leah. Okay. All right. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, which is opposite of what happened with who got the. Jacob had 12 sons, but only one from Leah, and that was Joseph. But Joseph was not. So Joseph would not have got the inheritance, but fortunately, Joseph still ended up getting more than the inheritance because they left him in the pit, and he ended up getting sold into slavery, and then he, started working for Potiphar, and he ended up saving the whole family, and they were all on his knees in front of him, begging him to save them. But he was not entitled to the birthright, which is odd because in God's eyes, he got the birthright. But he was not the firstborn son. He was the firstborn of Leah, which is the woman that Joseph is David's brother. That's not true. I mean, unless you mean brother as in like we're all brothers. But no, Joseph was way before David. Joseph is like Exodus, Genesis and Exodus. I don't even think Joseph is in Exodus. He's just in Genesis. David isn't for a lot longer. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of the city and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of this city, this is our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Dang, this sounds like me. My parents needed to read this. And they shall say, I already read that. Chastened him. They've already chastened him. They did not spare the rod. And all the men of this city, whoa, hold up. Dang. Whoa. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Dang. Dang. So if your son is disobedient, you spanked him, you corrected him, and he's just a lazy, fat drunk, you take him to the city elders and they stone him to death. Oh, so you're talking about New Testament Joseph, not Old Testament Joseph. Either way, yeah, from the house of the family of David. I don't know, man. They could be grandkids, they could be cousins, they could be nephews, they could be. David was centuries before Joseph of the New Testament and centuries after Joseph of the Old Testament. But everyone is the line of Abraham. Not everyone in the Bible, but so they're all of the family of Abraham, or they're all of the family of whatever tribe they're from. They're all of the I don't anyway. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is accursed of God, that thy land be not defiled, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. That's crazy. They get their sons stoned if they're disobedient. What the? Chapter 22. Chapter 22, this is laws for the family. And we already got some laws for the family. Chapter 22. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, also I would stay away from, I don't know what a tree of life translation is, but it sounds like some mess. Sounds like some mess. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound, I don't know. Tree of life translation. I don't know. Any Bibles that have like goofy titles like that, like the Message Bible or Women's Inspiration Bible or the Tree of Life Bible or the Guiding Knowledge Bible or the Wisdom of Greekadonia. I don't know, but it sounds new agey. I don't like it. I don't like the way it sounds. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee unto thy brother seek after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers which he hath lost, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. The women shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Based. Where's Mel? Oh, well, Mel is a man. The women shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abominations unto the Lord thy God. Wow. We're going to have to write that one down for Mel. Hello, hello. Just stopping in real quick. Tit. I hope your morning has been going well thus far. It's been going amazing. We need to. Where's my pen? I don't have my pen. But we're going to put a little star by this. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee, in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. The dam must be the mother bird. DAM. So you can take the eggs, but you can't take the mother bird. Bird's nest. Dam. Deuteronomy. That doesn't make sense. Well, I guess because the mother could then go on and have more babies. If you find a bird's nest with young or eggs, and the mother bird is sitting on them, you should not take the mother with the young, but rather let her go free. Now, this is probably like a metaphor that ties into... The reason for this command is not explicitly stated in the text, but some interpretations suggest it promotes compassion, reverence for motherhood, and ensures the continuation of the bird population. Yeah, it seems like the mom can have more babies, so you let the mother go to make more eggs, and you just take the eggs. Oh, wow. There's a law coming up that says you have to build a railing around the roof of your house so that nobody falls off of it. That's like biblical. You seen the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm? We haven't got to that part yet, but we're about to. Or it's in this chapter. It's coming up here. Actually, it's in 2 verses. It's actually the next verse. We're on verse 8. It's verse 8. Listen to this. When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. Meaning, if you build a house, so there's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, biblical OSHA facts. There's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where somebody falls in Larry's pool and dies. And for like the whole season, it's this huge ordeal because they're like, well, we have a neighborhood committee and we have laws in California that you have to have a fence around your pool. So you're actually liable for this, Larry. Is that a CSB or DRC 1752? I don't know what that means. But anyway, but they're so mad because they're like, and this does seem dumb that California can make these dumb laws like you have to have a fence around your pool. But now I'm looking at it in a different light. That's biblical. It's biblical. If you're gonna have a swimming pool, you need to have a fence around it so that nobody drowns in your pool, because then you have blood guilt. If you have a really tall house with a balcony, you got to have a handrail on your balcony so that nobody falls off, because then you have blood guilt. Who would have ever thunk that the fences around swimming pool requirement law is straight out of Deuteronomy? Wow. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with divers seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown of the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Divers seeds? Diverse seeds. It says diverse seeds, but it's diverse seeds. And then Paul talks about this in the New Testament, and What was the interpretation? I heard somebody, Jay Dyer, I heard him talking about this yesterday, but it was from an old stream he did. So Paul talks about this, the multiple threads in your cloth and not sowing diverse seeds in your vineyard, meaning different seeds. Like your vineyard is for your grapes. It's a little horticulture in the Bible, but it's also metaphorical. Um, I forgot what Jay said that the metaphor was interpreted as, but it had something to do with not mixing with sinners, and not like don't hang out around with sinners and stuff and live amongst sinners and stuff like that because it will defile you. This is just a little bit of self exegesis here, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I think it also ties in with interracial relationships, because we saw in the whole book of Nehemiah is about this. We saw it with Jacob. He was told, leave the land of Canaan and go home so that you can marry into our family, so that we can keep unity in our family. And then Nehemiah, he's condemning all the people for interracial relationships with all the different tribes around Israel, because it makes it hard to keep an accurate census and keep a record and to number the people accurately and keep the lineage when you start going out with all the different other people, the diverse seeds. And in the same way, when Joseph was leaving the farmer dude who gave him his 2 wives, the farmer guy who he had worked for like 14 years said, you can take some of my herd. You can take some of my goats. You can take some of my sheep. You could take some of my cows. And Joseph specifically picked the ones, like he picked the speckled calf and he picked the striped ram. He picked ones that looked different and stood out, so that when he took them home to Israel and they bred with each other, they would pass on the stripes and the spots so that he could delineate his herd from all of the surrounding farmers' herds. This was written for the Israelites? No, duh. So I think there's also a bit of sowing diverse seeds. I think there's a little bit of don't be mingling with the other tribes in there. Although she looked as fertile as the Tennessee Valley, her insides were a rocky place where my seed could find no purchase. What is that from? What is that from? The Tennessee Valley. That's not from the Bible, is it? My vanilla deserves chocolate. Oh, no. Oh, no. Anson the simp. I'm sowing diverse seeds. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Your vineyard's going to be defiled, buddy. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Yeah, this is for the Israelites. Well, Paul quotes this. Both of those, or one of them, one or the other. When does Paul quote Deuteronomy 10 and 12? 10 and 11. I think it's in Hebrews. Or, no, that wouldn't be. When does Paul quote Deuteronomy 22? 10. He doesn't directly quote it, but he does quote Deuteronomy 25:4. You shall not plow with an ox and donkey yoke together. Oh wait, no, wrong verse. That's 24:10, 22:10. You shall not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. Supports right to financially support as a minister. 22. 22:9. I don't think he quotes it directly, but he kind of like, okay, he uses the concept of yoking in 2 Corinthians 6:14, drawing a spiritual parallel to the idea of mixing clean and unclean things. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. So he's kind of referencing back to the real meaning of Deuteronomy 22:9, which says, "Don't sow diverse seeds or wear," and in 22:11, where you don't wear different cloths. See, there's a deeper meaning to these things. Thou shalt make where was I? Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as a woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, you call me out my name, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Well, why'd you marry her then? Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her. He's cussing her out, saying, I found not thy father as a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. The tokens of my daughter's virginity, it sounds gross, but I think that means like bloody bed sheets. Sorry for being so graphic. Essentially the bedspread from the maiden voyage is kept as a token of virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, based, because he shouldn't have married her in the first. Why'd you marry her and take her virginity and then hate her afterwards? You should have figured that out beforehand, dummy. Now you're going to get chastised. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver and give them unto the father. So they're going to chastise him publicly, and they're going to make him pay a fine. Unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. So he's got to pay a fine. He's going to get publicly shamed, and he's still got to stay married to her and deal with it. You better not chastise her again. Dummy. This is laws concerning chastity, by the way. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. Damn. So if he marries her, sleeps with her. Okay. I get it. He said, I found her not to be a maid. But there's evidence that she was a virgin, and you took her virginity. Those are the tokens of her virginity, the bedcloth, right? There's evidence. You took her virginity, buddy. But if he marries this girl thinking she's a virgin, sleeps with her, and there ain't no tokens. And he's like, nah, she knew what she was doing a little too much. I don't think she was a virgin. And there's no tokens. This bed is pristine. This is a pristine bed sheet. Then you take it to the to the village elders, and they stone her to death. Dang. No hymen, no diamond. Facts, Rome. Facts. Facts. Okay, well, you can think what you want, John. There's whole books and large swaths of the Bible that talk about that. So it's not just in Deuteronomy. And I wouldn't put it past Moses to put something like that in there. All right. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city. Oh, they getting stoned. And ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. Yeah, women, don't be walking around in the city at night. What you doing? But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. And see, atheists will use another verse that talks about if a man sleeps with a slave in the field, he has to marry her. And they're like, oh, so you're allowed to grape the slaves as long as you marry them. We talked about this. It was in, I think it was in Leviticus. But then this verse, and they'll say, so a guy is allowed to, they'll say the Bible justifies grape. Oh, yeah, this is it. No, it's this right here. It's this right here. Okay, let me read this full thing. If a man find a betrothed damsel in a field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. But if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, and this is the part the atheists will always bring up. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and shall be his wife, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Discover his father's skirt. Okay, so that section there, I had somebody call into my show or a stream that I was doing a long time ago. And they said, did you know that Deuteronomy 23, and I knew it was Deuteronomy 23. Did you know that Deuteronomy 23:28 says that you're allowed to grape a virgin? Yeah, but you got to marry her. You got to marry her and pay her dad. So it's advised against. It's not something you should do if you get fined for it. And who wants to marry her? This is only Israel law. Okay. So, what's the point? Are you guys just going to keep saying that? I know what book we're in. I'll marry her. No, stop, Anson. Stop. Why are you posting verses in the chat that I just read? Like we literally just read that verse like 5 minutes ago. Why are you posting it in the chat? I just read it. What does this mean? Nor discover his father's skirt. Discover his father's skirt. Why does his father have a skirt? What does that mean? Deuteronomy 22. Oh, it wasn't 23. It's 22, 28. 22, 28, and 29. Yeah, that's a rough one. That doesn't sound good. But, he's got to marry her. In other tribes, they would just grape him and leave him. At least in Israel, if you take somebody's V card, and also it says lay hold on her and lie with her. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her. Now, the dude that called me, he said that it says grape. That's in some old versions of the NIV, and they actually took that word out. But if you find an old version of the NIV and you go to Deuteronomy 22, 28, it does say grape. It says if a man finds a virgin and grapes her, blah, 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 he needs to pay the father and marry her. But that word grape is only in that one version of the NIV. It's not in. Now here it says, lay hold on her and lie with her, which does kind of imply. Yeah. New International Version says, if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and grapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels. Let me see what the what's it called? What's the other text called, Mosman? Not the Masoretic, but the why can't I? Not synoptic. Septuagint. Deuteronomy 22, 28, Septuagint. Let's see if this is different. That's not much better. Septuagint says, should force her and lie with her. It essentially means, this version of the Septuagint says, seizes her and lies with her. King James says, takes hold of her and lies with her. Lay hold of her. Let's see. So the difference is 50 and 100. Oh, was the amount different? Wait, was it? I didn't notice that. Was the amount different? 50 in the Septuagint. It's 50 in the NIV. It's 50 in the KJV. No, they're all 50. If I said 100, I misspoke. They all say 50. But now I want to see somebody try to explain this without totally, like, I think I've already looked into this before when I was talking to that dude, but that was years ago. 22, 28. I think the only explanation is, uh, yeah, you shouldn't be graping women, virgin women in a field. Um, if you do, you're gonna have to marry her and stay with her forever, make her your wife, and you're gonna have to pay her father. So it's decentivized. It's not a good thing to do. There's a law against it. There's a fine. Apologetics press. One prevalent idea in skeptical circles is that the God of the Old Testament is cruel and condones practices that are immoral. Each example the skeptics provide prove this thesis, however, has been shown to be false. God, the same God would love, if a man finds a young woman who is virgin, seizes her and lies with her, is the nicest way to say it. And they are found out, the man who lay with her shall give the young woman's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He shall not be permitted to divorce her all his days. That's punishment in itself, right there. Dude was just trying to have a good time. Now he's got to be married forever. According to the skeptic, these verses teach that a man who grapes a woman gets to have her as his wife. The skeptic then demands that any god who would reward a grapist with the woman he grapes is wicked and immoral. Thus, the God of the Bible cannot be the loving God Christians say he is. The reason the skeptic at first glance seems to have something of a case is simply because most English translations of these verses do not accurately render the original intent of the Hebrew. To be fair, this issue causes even those who are not skeptically minded some difficulty. When most English speakers hear that a person has seized another person, we necessarily jump to the conclusion that it is violent action against the will of the other person. This problem has been aggravated by the fact that some translations inaccurately and mistakenly translate the word as grape. The truth is, however, the Hebrew word in this case is translated seizes or tapas, which can mean many things. Here are some examples of the way it's translated in Deuteronomy 22:28 in several different English translations. Lay hold on her, taking her, takes her, hath caught her, or seizes her. So, yeah, that's American Standard Version, DRA, I don't know what that is, New Living Translation, uh, YLT, Young Living Translation. I don't know what that is. By looking at other passages that use this word, we can see that the word tapas sometimes has nothing to do with force and therefore nothing to do with grape. The Hebrew word tapas, lay hold of her, emphasized above, simply means to take hold of something, grasp it in hand, and application to capture or seize something. It is the verb used for handling the harp or the flute, the sword, the sickle, the shield, the oars, the bow, and is likewise used for taking God's name or dealing with the law of God. Joseph's garment. I think this is how, when I got in the little debate with that guy, this is what I went to. I explained to him that the word grape is only used in the NIV, and that's a bad translation, that taking hold of doesn't necessarily mean grape. You got to grab hold of it to, handle it, right? You could take hold of your wife and sleep with her, you know? So it doesn't necessarily mean grape. But regardless, it is discouraged. You got to pay a fine and you got to marry them forever. In truth, we use English words in this way on a regular basis. For instance, a brief look at the English word take illustrates the point. You can take someone's cookie or take a person's wife or take a bride to be your wife. The idea of force is not inherent in the word at all. If you take a person in your arms, what have you done? You're giving them a hug. Or if a young man takes a woman to be his wife, is there force involved? No, also. So yeah, it just means he takes hold of her and he sleeps with her, but she's a virgin. Well, now you got to marry her. Doesn't necessarily imply grape. It doesn't. If he doesn't marry her, then she can't marry. If she does marry, she will be stoned when it's found out she's not a virgin. Exactly, no name. Yeah, we just went over that. So actually, it's a blessing, because now that she's been humbled, deflowered, he's got to marry her, or else she's never going to be able to find a husband. She's never going to be able to get married. Facts. So, and grape is not implied. It's just, he grabbed that thing. You shouldn't grape anyone. Get that out of the chat. Don't, dummy. No duh, Jalen. You shouldn't grape anybody. Thanks for that brilliant, brilliant words of wisdom there. Thanks, Jalen. This doesn't excuse grape or justify it. It makes it to where both can live, but there are still consequences. Yeah, and that's assuming that it even means grape. It doesn't necessarily mean grape. It does sound like it when you read it. Lay hold on her and lie with her. He lays hold of her and lies with her. You know? Lay hold of her could be to take her in his arms. Strong arms. He takes her in his arms and he lies with her. He romances her and he sweeps her off her feet, takes hold of her into his arms, brings her home and lies with her. That's not great. That's romantic. Girls do that all the time. Every time I used to go to the club, I'd be taking hold of them, you know? And this, to discourage that, if you're going to romance a virgin and you're going to take her into your strong arms and lie with her, you got to marry her. That's all it says. That's all it means. I'm good with that. But what is this part? A man shall not take his father's wife. Duh, that's your mama. Nor discover his father's skirt. What does that mean? There's probably different translations. Discover his father's skirt. Comes from Deuteronomy 20, prohibiting man from marrying his father's wife. That it would be a violation of his father's marriage bed. Discover his father's skirt is a figurative way of saying violate his father's marriage bed or uncover his father's nakedness. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Uncover his father's nakedness, which is talked about a lot. That's the NIV says not dishonor his father's bed. ESV says not uncover his father's nakedness. I like that because that's what it uses in the older chapters. This uncover his father's skirt. It's the first time I've seen this. I guess it could mean that he couldn't control his hominess. Oh Lord. It's because women in their culture did not have full identity if she was father or husband. It's because women in their culture did not have full identity if she has father or husband. If she was father or husband. This ain't how it works, bro. This is just a bunch of shame nonsense. Good. People need to, you need some shame. Somebody needs to shame you. I'm going to shame you. Chapter 23. We're going to go into laws of human relations. Wow. Weren't we just talking about human relations? He that is wounded in the stones. I love how they use stones. Bro. When it talks about the behemoth stones are knit together with wires of steel, it's talking about his nuts. This is he that is wounded in his stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Oh, we're talking about the castrati. The castrati, the stones and the stump removed. Oh no. Ain't no shame in my game. I know, you've been given over to a reprobate mind. You cannot be shamed. You are above shame. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Wounded in the stones means your testicles. That's right, Rome. The testicles. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Yeah, don't be sleeping around, women. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam the son of Beor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God, Balaam and his donkey, nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Nice. Well, Joshua, aren't you a bastard? No. What do you mean? I know who my father is. Here, let's put Jalen in timeout for being a snaky little snaky snake. A little snaky little degen weasel. Testes, testes, 1, 2, 3. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. Shout out Freddie. Do not abhor the Egyptian. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their 3rd generation. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that would be a good reason to not be clean. Uncleanness. That is a good, if there's any reason to be unclean, to not be clean, uncleanness is a good one. That chanceth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee. Oh, it's talking about burying your doo-doo. Dude, that's facts, dude. That's if you go camping and stuff, especially if you're camping near a water source, there's laws. Those laws are dang biblical. There's laws against you got to bury your doo-doo. Wow. I did not know that was. I'm sure I've read this before and I just had no idea what it meant. But now when I'm reading it out loud, it makes sense. You gotta bring a little shovel with you, and you gotta bury your waste. You bring it in, you bring it out. You haul it in, you haul it out. For the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee. Well, we're gonna go deeper into this. We don't need more of an explanation on this. I mean, you didn't have to tell me that the reason that I have to bury my waste is because God walks in my camp. You could have just said, it's gross. Don't be like, this isn't India. This isn't LA or Seattle or Portland. You don't just get to doo-doo on the sidewalk. For the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee, and to give thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee. So bury your waste, guys. What are you talking about, John? John, go teach somebody else. Only a woman who is Oh, you're talking to. I thought you were talking to me when you said chairman. You're talking to Anson. Okay, that's fine. I thought you were criticizing me because I don't want to hear it. He said chairman. I thought he was talking about me. He's talking about Anson. But anyway, Anyway, you guys can argue amongst yourselves. Well, obviously they got no toilet. Yeah, yeah. You gotta bury the waste. Um, thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant. Where was I? Yeah. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. I was laughing. Yeah, I didn't even read the messages. I thought he was talking. I thought he was talking trash to me because it said chairman. I was like, I'm chairman. Uh, he shall dwell with thee even among you in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Dang, I like how blunt that is. It's very blunt. Very blunt. No whores and no sodomites. Based. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. For even both these are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Jews should have listened to this because I think they skipped over this verse. They're like the usury masters. Unto a stranger, well, no, they could. I guess they would say, well, we don't do usury amongst other Israelites, but we're allowed to do usury with foreigners. Yeah, and here it is right here. Yeah. I figured. The next verse says, unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury. So, yeah, I knew it. Before I even read it, I knew that was the excuse. That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to, in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Dang. So they got an out. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it. For the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be a sin in thee. Yeah, I didn't even have to read this next verse to know that they had an out. Well, I already explained. Okay, cool. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be a sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes, thy fill at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel. What if you come into my vineyard and eat all my grapes, though? What if you're fat? When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn. Wow. They forgot that concerning Jesus. Have a good day. I will. It's my nighttime. I'm going to have a good sleep. Chapter 24. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no... Wait. We're in chapter 24 now. Laws of morality. We're going to do 24 and 25. I told you I was only popping off because I thought you were talking to me when you said chairman. But whatever. I really don't care. This isn't the... I need water. What are you doing, Echo? I need water. Chapter 24. But I wasn't being a snake, but someone won't enter the kingdom of heaven because of their parents' mistake? How is that fair? I still believe if the bastard know God, then he does make it. Okay, well, that's fine. You're take it up with God. Don't take it up with me. I didn't write Deuteronomy. What do you think I wrote this, Jalen? Your problem isn't with me reading this. So why do you have to say you're a bastard, aren't you, Josh? Well, one, no, I'm not a bastard. And two, if I was, based off of your own beliefs, that wouldn't mean anything. Your gripe is with God. Take it up with him. I didn't write this. Moses did. God inspired it. Take it up with him. Ask him why it says that in there. I'm just reading. All right. Chapter 24, laws of morality. And also, did it say that? What did it say? No, it doesn't say that. So also, so one, you're being a snake because you called me. You said, "Aren't you a bastard?" That was snaky. Two, you're taking your little anger out on me because you're mad at what God said. And three, you weren't even paying attention because it doesn't say anything about heaven. It says a bastard shall not enter into the congregation. Well, congregation of the Lord, but I think they're specifically talking about Israel, the tabernacle or the temple. That could mean heaven. Shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. I think that that's not referring to heaven. I think that's referring to like the tabernacle or like the Holy of Holies. Congregation of the Lord. Deuteronomy 23:1. Yeah, it's specifically, it's not talking about heaven. It's talking about the assembly of the Lord, religious and civic life of the community. So you don't get to go to the tabernacle, you don't get to go to the and you're focused on the bastard part. What about people who get their dang kicked in the nards? They're not allowed to either. Why are you so worried about the bastards? What about people who just like a horse kicked them in the nards? They're not welcome in the congregation either. Were you forgetting about them? All right. Chapter 24. When a man hath taken a wife, and he marries her, and it comes to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. Based. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Really? And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it, oh, she's about to get stoned, and give it with her hand and sendeth her out of the house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after that she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin which the Lord God giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. What the? So when you get married, you don't have to work or go to war for a year because you have to cheer up your wife for a year. What does cheer up mean here? Does it mean make babies? Is that how you cheer her up? I think it is. I think that's what it means. Cheer up his wife. Deuteronomy. Sorry, babe. I got to cheer you up for the next year. I'm going to be here every day just to cheer you up. This provision prioritizes the establishment of a new family unit and the well-being of a newly married couple. Newly married man is exempt from military service and other official duties for a year. This allows man to focus on his wife and establish a strong foundation for their marriage and family life. Also gives them time to make at least 2 babies. We're going to do a lot of cheering up, honey. You ready? I'm about to. What, is she depressed after she marries this guy? Why does she need to be cheered up so badly? The temple? The temple. Are y'all way behind? No. Oh, Lord. Those that leaveth will be backeth. Oh, yes, they will be backeth. I know. I spent years trying to cheer up a wife. That's an idiot's hobby. Yeah, I don't know about all this. I'm glad that I don't think this law is reiterated in the New Testament. This is the old law. I ain't spending a year with you every day just to cheer you up. And why are you so depressed? Just because I married you? I'm not way behind. You're way behind. You're way behind. Cheer her up for a year. That's crazy. What are we going to do? What are we going to do for a whole year? I want to go to the military, bruh. Send me to war. What are we going to play Uno? They didn't even have cards back then. What are we going to do for a year? We can only make 2 babies. We can only make 1 baby and get started on a second. In a year, I don't need a year. I get that done on day 1. That means that 9 months of that year, she gonna be pregnant. She needs to be chaired up. No man shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. Shall take the nether or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. I don't know what that means. Deuteronomy 22, 6, 7, or 24, 6, and 7. Prohibits taking a hand mill or even if its upper stone as collateral for a debt. Doing so would be taking a person's livelihood and essentially their life. Okay. So they use their millstones to what? To grind the grain and things like that. So basically it'd be like if you owe me something, if I take your car as collateral. Or like, and you need it to get to work. Basically. Or if you're like a handyman and you owe me money and I say, okay, well, until you pay me back, I'm going to take all your tools. that would not be allowed because you're taking their livelihood. Does the chair have straps? No. This is not. What the heck? No man shall take the nether. Oh, I already read that. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren, stealing any of the brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from amongst you. Take heed in the plague of leprosy that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priests, the Levites, shall teach you. As I commanded them, so ye shall observe to do. Remember what the Lord thy God did unto Miriam by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man to whom thou dost lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. So you don't just get to run up in his house and take it back. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. Shalt not sleep with his pledge? Oh, okay. If he's poor, you need to return. Okay. In any case, thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteous unto thee before the Lord thy God. So if you owe me something and you're poor, and I take your clothes as collateral, I need to give them back so you have something to sleep in at night. But then tomorrow, I'm taking it right back. How much of a dono would it take to get the straps? Okay. Hey, this is Bible time. This is not degen time. Quit being a degen in my chat. That's gross. And no amount of dono for that. Don't even. Yeah, it's weird. Where was I? Verse 14. We're going to finish 24 and get through 25. I'm a degenerate heathen. I know. You're welcome here, but don't get that nasty in my chat. That's sodomy. That's gross. Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At this day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be a sin unto thee. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. Raiment is clothing, or their robe. They're like city coat. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee hence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondsman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. Putting away calculator. What are you calculating? Shut up. What are you talking about, bro? All right. Chapter 25, and then we're going to wrap up. Okay? Chapter 25, laws of morality and laws of family relations. Family relations. Chapter 25. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Pretty basic, justify the righteous, condemn the wicked. Makes sense. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed, lest if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. I think that's based. Like, if I'm married and I die, I want my brother to marry my wife. That's based. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead. That's based. That his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, My husband's brother refuseth to raiseth up unto his brother's name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of this city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, So shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. Oh, so if he won't marry the wife of his dead brother, she takes his shoe off his foot and spits in his face, and his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that hath his shoe loosed. So they publicly shame him. The woman takes the shoe off of his foot, spits in his face, because he's lame. He's not doing his brotherly duties. When the men strive together one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver the husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him. Stupid idea, women. Maybe don't do that. Maybe if your husband's fighting with another man, don't get involved. How about that? And putteth forth her hand, and taketh him by the secrets. Wait. When men strive together, that means when men are fighting one with another, and the wife of the one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him. So, me and another guy are getting in a fight, and the other guy's getting the upper hand. He's hitting me. And my wife comes to stop him, and she putteth forth her hand to taketh him by the secrets. Then thou shalt cut off her hand, thine eyes shall not pity her. Does that mean what I think it means? Taketh him by the secrets? Are they saying that if I'm fighting with a guy and I'm losing, and my wife runs up and grabs him by the nuts, that you're supposed to chop her hand off? Which, by the way, I agree, but is that what that means? Taketh him by the secrets. No way that's what that means, but I think that is what it means. Every time I think there's no way it could mean what I think it means, it always means what I think it means. I'm pretty good at this. If two men are fighting, seizes him by his private parts, grabbing the testicles of the other man, seizes him by the private parts, reaches out her hand and grabs his genitals, taketh him by the secrets, puts out her hands and seizes him by the genitals. Genitals. Majority of versions say genitals. ASV and KJV say taketh him by the secrets. Contemporary English and ESV say seizes him by the private parts. NLT says grabbing the testicles. Who heckles a Bible study? Anson, you're pretty bored, huh? Well, we do try to make this a funny Bible study, but she grabbed him by the sack and is punished for it. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what. No, he's not heckling. That's exactly what it means. It's Deuteronomy 25:11. Deuteronomy 25:11. So basically, if two men are fighting and the one guy is losing, so his wife comes up and grabs the other guy by the nuts to make him stop hitting her husband, she should have her hand cut off. I think that's a good idea because she should not be getting involved in men's fights. Women should not be getting involved when men are fighting. Just don't do it. And also, the only thing worse than losing a fight to another guy is if my wife tries to help me by grabbing the other guy's nuts. That makes it way worse. That's even more embarrassing. And then you know what's even worse than that? Now my wife has one hand. Now I got a one-handed wife. And somebody says, why does your wife only have one hand? Well, it's dumb broad. I was losing a fight one night when we were drunk at the bar, and she thought she was going to save me by running up and grabbing the dude's nuts. So they cut her hand off. Bro, this is funny. You could make a whole stand-up bit about that. Biblical stand-up. That's funny. I love the way they say it. Putteth forth her hand and taketh him by the secrets. I wish somebody put forth their hand and take me by the secrets. The only note I'm writing right here is hilarious. Because that's funny. I don't care who you are. Just like a woman to make this about money. Give me that coin purse. Thou shalt not have in thy bag diverse weights, a great and a small. Diverse weights, a great and a small. I don't know what that means. Thou shalt not have in thine house diverse measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure. Shalt thou have that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Weights and measures, I'm guessing is diverse weights and measures means that your measuring cups should be the same size and your weights, your scales should all be balanced properly so that you can't like scam people maybe. For all that do such things and all that do unrighteously are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Oh yeah, people wonder what the Amalekites did to deserve to be punished. Well, it says it right here that he would sneak up behind him and he would take the weakest people and kill them from the back of the line. The feeble ones, the faint and the weary, and he would kill them. Therefore it shall be when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, and the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. And that is yet again another prophecy. So I think we're at 5 prophecies now of the destruction of the Amalekites. So when an atheist or somebody who's trying to debunk the Bible and debunk God, and they say, well, God, how could God be loving if he told them to wipe out all the Amalekites? That prophecy was foretold, I think, somewhere between 5 and 8 times leading up to the destruction of the Amalekites. And right here, we're told exactly that Amalek would have his people pick off the faint and the weary and the elderly and the sick and the tired from the back of the line. He'd sneak up and pick them off the back, the hindmost parts of the camps. So this guy's a real jerk, and that's why he got wiped out. All right. That's it for today. We're on chapter 26 tomorrow. Ugh. Oh, man. Great nuts. Ugh. All right. Well, guys, thank you for hanging out. I'm going to find a place to raid real quick. Why people... People want to come in and turn this into their Bible study. And then get mad when I call it out. This is not... I think we'll go to Angry Conservative today. A return to maximum pressure, exploring the use of unmanned aircraft. Homeland Security is talking about unmanned aircraft. Return to maximum pressure. Let's look at the unmanned aircraft one. The normal DGen streams you do suck. None of my streams are DGen streams. This isn't your channel. Your 1 pound weight better weigh 1 pound and not more or less than 1 pound to cheat people in this way. Right. That's the weight in the measures. Or if you have a measuring cup, they didn't have cups, but if I needed to give somebody oil and they said I need a cup of oil, I can't get the little measuring cup to give them a cup of oil and then have the big measuring cup for me. Yeah, your weights and your scales need to be properly calculated so you can't scam people. Yes, that's what that meant. All right, I'm going to send you over to Angry Conservative. He's just watching something about exploring unmanned aircraft. They already got satellites with lasers on their heads, so I'm sure we already have a lot of unmanned aircraft up in the sky. But they're talking about it in the Senate or something like that. So I'll send you over there. I will see you guys tomorrow morning back for this. Getting my pet dinosaur alligator to work on a model pyramid for you, JS. I'll let you know. Do you really have a pet alligator? Some people do have pet alligators. Clarissa Explains It All had a pet alligator. We used to catch alligators in the backyard, in the lake in the backyard, and then we'd duct tape their mouth shut and we'd throw them in the backyard and we'd run around and play with them. But do you really have a pet alligator? If you can get me a video of your pet alligator pushing blocks into like a pile, like train him with food to like move blocks. And if you can get me a video of that, I'm not going to give you anything in return except for appreciation and gratitude and thanks. Because that would be awesome. Because then I would have video proof that a dinosaur can stack blocks. I don't have a relationship with the man that seeded my mom. What the heck? Okay. All right, guys. Have a good one. Say what's up to AC for me. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow. We got to finish Deuteronomy this week. Peace.